Welcome to the Couples Podcast with Jayson and Ellen, where we discuss long-term partnership, parenting, and how to keep your most important relationships thriving for the long haul.
I'm Jayson, an entrepreneur, founder of the Relationship School, author of Getting to Zero, and coach for founders and CEOs and couples.
I'm Ellen, a couples therapist and coach, teaching and writing about relational longevity.
We've been married for 18 years. We're raising 2 teenagers, and we've been working with people on their relationships for 60 years combined.
We care about relationships, health, nature, humanity, and the vibe in your home. We live and breathe this shit. Come join us.
Welcome back to the Couples Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Ellen.
Yeah, good morning, Jayson.
Ooh, there we are.
We're here. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of listens on that last masculine feminine podcast.
A lot of people are interested in that, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got some good pushback, and a lot of people saying, thank you. Finally, someone's saying this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we'll
come back to that.
To that one, because there was some pushback that I think we need to speak to that's valid. And I always like listening to the feedback.
Yeah, totally.
One of the ways you can give us feedback is through Spotify's comments. Mm-hmm. If you listen on Spotify, it's one way. Mm-hmm. And it's helpful.
Totally. It is.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about when a couple makes the claim that they never fight. And I want to talk about this because I saw 2 very high-profile couples. It was George Clooney and Travis Kelce having a conversation, interview. And I'm pretty sure what they both said was, I've never fought with my partner. Mm-hmm. And granted, George Clooney, I think, has been married like many years. And he said, we've never had a fight.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
And then Travis, who we all know is with Taylor, I love them, has said, yeah, we've never had a fight. And they've been together, I think, 2.5 years. And so, I just wanted to unpack this because I think when couples, maybe even couples we look up to especially, say this, and I've seen this before with people who, have visibility and say like, oh, we've never fought. And I feel like that sends the message that you're not supposed, they're a great couple and they don't fight. So we must be a bad couple because we fight or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it sends the message that fighting is bad or that that's just not supposed to be happening or they know something you don't know. And so
you picked the wrong partner. Yeah.
There's all kinds of things we could make out of that. Right. Yeah. And so I wanted us to just share our perspective from also being a 18-year married couple and having worked with hundreds of couples as therapists and coaches and families and people for decades. Yeah. Just what do we know and what do we see? So I want us to unpack that.
There was another famous person, semi-famous, I think it was Gay and Kathleen Hendricks, who I had on my personal podcast a long time ago. And he also said, we've never fought. Which was so interesting.
Because aren't they like
they're couples, like couples
coaches or something?
They do couples workshops, or they used to. Yeah.
Wow.
And the more I listened to him, I listened to many podcasts, and it wasn't an accurate statement based on some of the stories he told.
Yeah.
So, because some people will also tell a story, we never fight, but then they have conflict and they have their way of working through it, and then they call it, we don't disagree or fight.
Right. So I let's start there with like, what do we mean by fighting?
Yeah.
Because I think I actually want to give these couples credit that what they're saying is true for them on some level, that in their world they don't fight. And so I'm like, oh, maybe we need to define fighting.
Yeah, that's
better.
Wise.
So I would say, and I'm curious what you would say, but I would say a fight in my world is any time you have a disagreement, like anytime there's a misunderstanding, a rupture of some kind, just we disagree, we don't see things the same way, and we're having to figure it out.
Yeah.
I would put that all under the category of a fight. My definition is very broad.
Yeah, I like that. I want to nuance it a little bit and say, when you're not talking, there's tension. There's not an overt argument going on, but there's been enough of a snag that the couple is now quiet and not talking about it, but they feel off. If we interviewed them, both of them would agree that, hey, yeah, something's off here, but we never really had a fight.
Yeah, we're just not that connected. I don't feel that open to you. I feel kind of guarded, protective, like not.
Yeah, not good.
Not good.
Yeah. And I largely put that in the category of disconnection. We're disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of doesn't matter how we got here. We just are disconnected.
Yeah.
And can we acknowledge that we're off, and we were good last week, and this week we're off, and I don't even know what happened. That could be lumped in the category of fight. Because something happened.
Yeah.
Usually in that situation, someone is pretty sensitive and they don't give themselves credit for that. They think they shouldn't be upset about what they're upset about, and they tend to just get quiet and, well, I don't want to say anything,
Right. Or they don't even really know.
Yeah. Yeah, they just somehow we drifted.
And so, we use, I think, a really broad category for fighting in our world because we want everything under that category to be repaired.
Yeah.
We want repair for the tiniest things, for the big things. So that's why for me, I'm like, a fight could be just a slow crawl towards disconnection,
mm-hmm.
silence and lack of interaction and avoiding each other. It could be just a disagreement about something that feels a little like crunchy.
Yeah.
It could, all those little things I put in there because I want everyone to see that these are things that need repair at some point. Yeah. And I think it's important we define this for us because what I'm guessing, if I'm giving these couples the benefit of the doubt, what I'm mm-hmm. guessing they're saying is we've never had a quote unquote fight because we've never screamed and yelled at each other or thrown things or called each other names. Right. And that's great. I don't ever want people doing that. I mm-hmm. don't think that is good for partnerships. Yeah. It might happen, and it's pretty horrible and impactful if it does. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's the very rare experience. But if those couples aren't doing that, they're not fighting in that way, that's great. I'm like, thumbs up. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're not doing that. But then I want to know, like, are you having these? I mean, they've got to be having these moments where they're disconnected or things don't line up or something happens that someone's feelings get hurt.
Yeah, they respectfully
like you tell a joke that's offensive or you forgot to do something you said you would. I mean, there's so many things when you are interacting, living together, having to figure things out day after day for years. There's so many things that could happen that could not feel awesome.
Yeah. Completely.
And that should probably get named, talked about, acknowledged. Because, I have something else I want to say about that, but you look like you might have something,
something
to say.
I just wanted to say, like, that when we're talking about, so this is so important because the large category here is you two are off. Something happened. Mm-hmm. And that's normal in all long-term relationships. Usually after the honeymoon stage. And Travis and Taylor are still, you could say, in the honeymoon stage. It's still pretty early. It's what,
2.5 years.
2.5 years in. I imagine in 5 years, it's going to get harder for them if they had kids and just imagine.
They'll have more to work with. They'll have moments or times where they're like, wow, this is challenging right now. Yes.
And so again, they will feel disconnected from each other at times. And so we're saying that's okay, guys. Mm-hmm. The work, what Ellen's talking about repair is you want to get reconnected.
Yeah.
So that you feel good again. It's not so much repair for repair's sake. Of course, we're repairing so that we feel connected and good again.
Right. And you don't want to be avoiding conflict. Like, again, that's something I worry about with people who are like, we don't fight. So let me tell a story about that, because like avoiding conflict can create more conflict just in and of itself, because that can be threatening if someone's not recognizing like, oh, it doesn't seem like you're doing okay, or, oh, I think I did something that felt bad to you. Like when you don't do those things, that can start to feel threatening over time. But like I'm thinking of a couple right now who married almost, 15 years, never had a fight. Okay. She had an affair, actually several affairs.
Yep.
And now they're in therapy and they're trying to figure out how to deal with this massive rupture and betrayal.
Yeah.
And they have no practice.
Yeah, no skills.
No skills around how to get back to a good place. Granted, an affair, that is one of the steepest
That's a level 10
climbs you could do to try to get back to a place of security and safety and trust. It can be done, but that is a formidable task for the most evolved couples, okay?
Yeah.
So here they are coming in. They have to ski black diamonds and they've never put skis on before.
Right.
And
brutal.
It's really, really hard. And so there's that, but then there's also all the things that, because now as we're talking, there's so much that has been brushed under the rug for 15 years. So many times, they have kids, they have careers, they've moved, they've done all kinds of things. And they have not ever repaired any of the little things that have happened along the way. They've done none of it. So they have 15 years of unrepaired material, 15 years of kind of negative messages that have gotten sent because of that. Like, you don't really care about me. You don't really care about my feelings. You just care about yourself, like all these negative things. And that's part of what led to the affair, actually. Yeah. And so obviously this is like a worst case scenario that I'm painting in terms of we never fight. And then all of a sudden you start finding out about affairs. Like that's horrible. But I'm saying that because people can, quote unquote, never fight and be sweeping things under the rugs, never learn how to repair even little things, get no practice with how to get back to a good place over and over, which is what builds security in an attachment relationship with our kids and with our partners. And then meanwhile, they're starting to feel estranged, disconnected. That's now normal to them. And it is easy ground for a betrayal to happen, or for like someone to wake up and be like, I'm done with you. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. I have some questions about this, because I don't know who you're talking about, but I imagine this kind of dynamic gets common in a high achieving couple where they're both really busy and they're moving fast and they do a lot. They don't have a ton of practice at just being together and caring about each other's nervous system and the deeper experience inside. And so as long as you move fast and you keep kind of moving, you can tell yourself we're fine. It's not that big of a deal. We're fine. God, we're so busy. We wouldn't even have time to deal with these little things. I don't want to be that guy or that gal that's just like making mountains out of molehills. I'm just going to stuff it and move on. And also, it's not that big of a deal, but then it turns into what you're talking about. And
we have a trip coming up next month, or we just bought a beautiful new house that we want to redecorate. And, we
have 2 little kids and they need our attention.
Right. And so we have we have like a quote unquote nice life in that we have a lot of privilege and we have a lot of things and we have it kind of easy.
Yeah.
Like we can just brush this under the rug.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see that with, you said like a high achieving couple. I'm thinking, with privilege comes the privilege to not deal.
Right.
At times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's that too.
Yeah. You can kind of buy your way.
Yeah.
And distract your way out of these things.
Yeah. Money can be a real kind of crutch in these situations.
This is a great example. I'm thinking of another example that's less intense.
Okay.
A couple I've worked with over the years. And the man is so put out that the woman is bringing up hard things because he's in a fairy tale that they should just have a happy, easy relationship.
Yeah.
So this is another example where he has an expectation that they're like Travis and Taylor and George Clooney, that they don't fight because that's what a good couple is. And so he's setting himself up for failure. And he's so annoyed and put out because of his expectation that we don't fight and we shouldn't fight. Mm-hmm. And you're being dramatic. You're making a big deal out of nothing. And that's kind of the energy he brings to his wife. And the wife is like, hey, I just have things I want to talk about that aren't working for me and that are activating and are kind of a bummer over here. And he's just like rolling his eyes like, And then she gets the label of too sensitive, too emotional. Dramatic. Oh, you're just a woman.
I can never please you.
And I'm like, dude, this would all change if this guy would have what we're talking about here, like fights and disconnection is part of a marriage. It's part of a long-term relationship, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be put out by that. You need to put the energy on how do we, when there's bumps in our connection, how do we deal with that? But he's robbing himself and their relationship of this opportunity to learn because he's so put out.
Yeah. It's like a denial of reality, you know, and that like, oh, my partner's, something's not working for them, and therefore it's probably not working for us, and we could do better here. Yeah. Or let's find out, or how do we really want this relationship to function? Like, it's such an opportunity to get more connected, again, to build more security, to build more of that sense of, wow, you care about my feelings, you're interested in my experience in this relationship.
Right.
Well, how does that take you far if you have that feeling underneath all that stuff? Because like if you and I get disconnected or something happens and I'm like, oh, that hurt my feelings, I have underneath that this sense of, I know you care about me. I know you care about my experience in this relationship. Mm-hmm. You want to know how I'm doing. It's not a big problem for you at all. Yeah. It's important to you, actually. Like, it's so much easier to figure everything out. It doesn't have to become a fight, you know, in the kind of, we're super disconnected, angry, resentful sense.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I'm curious what, Ellen, just from your experience over the years, what is there such a thing as too much fighting? And because I can hear a couple thinking that right now as they're listening, they're like, yeah, but okay, you guys, what you're talking about is maybe a normal, healthy relationship. Yeah, we are kind of talking about that. And is there such a thing as too much?
I think so.
And what's going on there? What could we say to that listener who's like, man, we
fight all the time.
We are like in it.
Well, okay, I'll say first of all, everyone's relationship is theirs. So we all have a personalized way we want our relationship to work. So, what I might say is too much fighting for me or something is maybe not for someone else or something, let's say, or, so I just want to put that in there, that we're all different here and we all get to decide how we want our relationship to look. But I think, you know, if a couple is fighting all the time about kind of everything, if everything is activating you, if everything is like, you know, sets things off, I think that is stressful.
Yeah.
And it's stressful to be kind of fighting with the person that you're supposed to be kind of facing the world with, right? Like whenever we're disconnected or we're, you know, we have hurt feelings or we don't, you know, we're just struggling to figure something out, like that takes up resources from everything else until we're back to a good place.
Yeah.
And so if you're fighting all the time, there's a lot of resources going towards trying to deal with this situation when you need resources for the world and life and everything. And so I'd say, okay, there's something going on that your baseline, that you guys are so in the red all the time and everything is pushing you into, you know, a big argument, let's say. So there's some way in which we need to figure out why you're so in the red already.
Yeah.
And then also, how are you fighting? Like, they don't probably know how to actually get to a place of repair, to keep evolving their relationship and how they function together so that it is more friendly, supportive, caring, sensitive, you know, collaborative.
Yeah.
Because like, that's what we want. We want peace at home. But we don't want peace at the cost of avoiding what's real.
Right.
So there is this balance where it's like, yeah, we want to get along. We want to feel connected. And we all have to work at that, because we're going to be in different states at different times. We're coming from different histories. We have different expectations, different cultures, different family cultures, all this difference. And we're learning how to get along. Yeah. So I do think there can be too much where it's stressful, it's draining, it's taking up a ton of resources. They're not getting back to a good reconnected place where they feel stronger and more connected. And so that over time, I think that does create wear and tear.
Yeah. And burnout. And people just can't. They just get discouraged.
Yeah.
Can't keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I would add, in my experience, that I have a bias that two willing people who are in that situation, who really want to work hard to understand the nature of the fights and the history that's being brought into the equation prior to meeting this person, their trauma history and everything, if they're willing to co-heal and to get more efficient and to really overcome it, I believe they can. But what I've found with a couple like this over the years, that when one of them is, usually it's one of them saying we fight too much, is one of the partners is more locked into their position about being right. They're actually not that psychologically flexible.
Yeah.
They're very convinced it's the other person. And when you got two people convinced that it's the other person and they just won't self-reflect and look in the mirror, it's pretty hard, and it will continue to create more fighting and disagreements and disconnection. But I do think two willing people can overcome this.
Yeah. And especially if they both want the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes people find out, gosh, we don't want the same kind of relationship. We don't want we don't have the same vision for what this partnership should look like, and how to connect, and the way we connect, and how often, and how we utilize each other. And, people sometimes have different visions for how they want to be in partnership. And so you might find that along the way. And that might be what you're fighting about.
Because that also can expose, we actually are going in different directions.
Right. We want different.
And that's okay.
We want really different things.
Let's separate, because we want really different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fighting is they're trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
Instead of just acknowledging, look, we are actually not aligned at all. And that's okay. If we just let go of trying to change each other, what if we just separate and move on?
So, yeah. So if a couple's like, we've never had an argument, I don't know. Do we want to say any more about that?
Usually my bullshit meter is going off, especially if they've been together 5 years or more. I'm like, I over here make the assessment, and I of course want to get to know them before I completely write them off. But what I have found is they're in that mode and they're just not going any deeper. They're living inside of a pretty shallow, superficial relational field where they actually don't know and aren't exploring deeper layers of themselves. They're not, they're like, hey, we're okay, right? We're okay. Yeah. Let's just keep talking about the weather and work and the kids, and let's just kind of go along to get along, and let's just not go any
deeper
outside the lines here. So I do find that when people are saying that, they tend to be in a more superficial, relationship that lacks deeper intimacy and depth.
Yeah. And I would also say it's possible that one person or both are kind of slowly betraying themselves over time, like going along with things so they don't get an argument, or, that's, again, this couple that I saw after 15 years, never had an argument. One of them was really betraying themselves over and over and over.
Right.
That's the one who had the affair eventually.
Wow. Yeah.
And their partner was like, what? I thought we were great.
We were good.
And had no idea. And because he wasn't going deeper in connection over time, they were sort of like, we're good. We got married. There's nothing more to see here. Yeah. And, we're so into growth and development, healing, transformation. We want people to come up against their own limits. Relationship can be such a path of growth and development, and growth and development together as a couple is also growing you individually. And there's going to be some stuff to navigate there around, wait, how, like sometimes we've had, quote unquote fights about like how to fight, how to repair, how to get back to a good place. Like we're like trying to hash things out about, well, what would have you feel really repaired with? What would have me feel really repaired? How do I think this should go? What do you want here? Yeah. Like we're kind of hashing out a lot of the time just how to function as a couple, and how do we stay connected, and really trying to create a culture between us and for our family that's intentional. And that takes discussion and communication and looking at ourselves and what do I want for myself, but like what's hard for me to do. And it's interesting and fun most of the time, and sometimes challenging and difficult. Yeah. But there's nothing to be afraid of there. If where you're aiming is towards, I want to feel really secure and good with you. I want you to feel really good with me. I want us to feel really connected, and like we can come to each other with anything, with any truth, any feeling. If I do something that doesn't work for you, I want to know about it. Like you can create a culture like that, and that will make room for, yes, we're gonna be able to bring things to each other that could be seen as conflictual, but in the service of connection. Yeah. And knowing each other better, knowing ourselves better, and having a relationship that feels more inclusive of both of us. Right. That would be the point of quote unquote fighting. And again, I would say I'm guessing George Clooney's meaning that, I've never screamed and we've never screamed and yelled at each other. We've never like said things to each other, name calling, and that's great. But I'm guessing they've had to hash shit out. Yeah. Unless there's just, we don't really talk about anything of substance ever. But I think that'd be hard to do. I mean, that'd be impossible for me to do. Yeah.
Well, and George Clooney had a previous marriage and got divorced. So it's like, what happened there?
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother podcast about how just normal divorce is.
True.
That doesn't mean something's wrong.
No, but it often means two people couldn't work some things out.
Or that they they realized they wanted different things over time and
different directions. That's fair.
That doesn't necessarily mean something.
Yeah. So, bottom line, listeners, is it's okay to be disconnected. It's okay to fight. It's okay to have differences. And what we're trying to say is that's pretty normal in a lot of long-term relationships. And then the work is, how do we get better at working through those things? Yeah.
A lot of people are going to have to learn and practice. You're going to, we didn't grow up seeing people quote unquote fight well. Yeah. Which means it was productive. It was respectful. It was about getting somewhere better, getting more understanding. Hey, let me understand you better. What is this about? Why is this important to you? Like that. I would consider that kind of an argument, we're hashing something out that we don't fully understand yet, but we're committed to getting to a good place. Yeah. And if we didn't grow up seeing that over and over and over and over, if we didn't grow up having people repair with us, our parents and caregivers, over and over and over and over, and get back to a good place, a genuinely good place, we get into adult partnerships and we don't know how. We literally do not know how. We can learn how. We all have the capacity to do this better, but you might have to do some learning.
Yeah, most likely. And again, embrace that.
Yeah, it's growth.
Because we think it's going to be better for you and your relationship.
And your health.
And your well-being if you look in the mirror and develop yourself. It's a pretty beautiful thing that we obviously are promoting here. Anything else?
I think that's good. That's
cool.
Yeah, for now.
For now. We'll leave it there. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. And we'll be back in touch soon.
Yeah. Thank you.